it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it!
Welcome to Successful Dropout. This podcast is for the outliers, the innovators, the rebels, those that dare to dream and act on their dreams. I'm your host, Kylan Ginger. Join me as we find out what it takes to drop out, grind, and succeed. This episode is brought to you by Praxis. Guys, if you've been listening for a while and you're inspired to drop out, grind, and succeed and to start turning your dreams into reality, Praxis helps you go from student to startup in just 9 months, okay? To land your dream job or to start your own company, you don't need to sit in more classrooms or blast out resumes or go through years of training. You can start today. Praxis combines a 3-month professional bootcamp with a 6-month paid apprenticeship at a startup that leads directly to a full-time job. And startups aren't just for coders, by the way. There's sales positions, marketing, operations. Even if you're not sure what you're interested in, Praxis places you with a growing, dynamic company where you get paid to do work you love to do, where you get to become part of a team, and where you learn how to create value. It's not just an internship, it's real work. In addition to the apprenticeship, you complete an intensive education program that combines professional development training, skill building projects, and one-on-one coaching. You'll leave the program with a full-time job offer and the skills and experiences you'll need to work for any company that you want to work for or to even start your own company. No degree is required to get started on your career, guys. Whether you're an ambitious go-getter right out of high school, a creative thinker who's bored in college, or a college grad looking forward to something better than more school or a cubicle job, Praxis is a phenomenal resource for you. $50,000. Okay, $50,000 is the average salary that Praxis graduates are getting with these full-time jobs that they get right after the program in less than a year. If you want to learn more, go to discoverpraxis.com, discoverpraxis.com, and let them know that you found out about them through Successful Dropout and start turning your dreams into reality, guys. And with that being said, let's get to the show. What is up, Successful Dropouts? Get stoked because today on the show we have Katya Sarmiento. She is an expert in technology and systems for online business. She's also the founder of reachandmakemillions.com, which provides done-for-you tech services for successful, booked-out entrepreneurs and coaches that want to scale up their business and start earning passive income. With her help as Chief Tech Officer, Katya's clients have grown their list by thousands of subscribers in just a matter of a few months, launched telesummits and hosted webinars without tech issues, created multiple passive income revenue streams, and launched modern, high-converting websites and back-end sales funnels that sell. She is now on a mission to help other entrepreneurs spend less time making more money and changing the world so that they can have more time for their personal life and build the business of their dreams. So, Katya, that's the intro that I have for you, but tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, so thank you for having me. So I'm the tech person for entrepreneurs, and I actually like to work with what I call holistic entrepreneurs. So they're into like personal growth, self-help, like the Tony Robbins and Oprah lovers, basically. I always have really great conversations with them, and they really have a passion to help people. Really, really want to help people, really want to change the world. So they usually have issues with technology. They're not like the most tech savvy people. And anyways, they shouldn't be spending their time on that. They have their own gifts, whether it's like health coaching or life coaching, relationship coaching. And so I come in and I take over all the tech problems, all the tech stuff. And I absolutely love it because I basically self-taught I taught myself programming. I taught myself everything about computers. Like I grew up with computers and like when Front Page and Adobe Photoshop had like those DVD trainings and stuff, I would sit for hours watching that stuff. So now I just do that with the online entrepreneurship space. I totally geek out over that stuff, and I try to help out my holistic peeps as much as I can with the technology because there's no excuse to build a business, a thriving, successful coaching business, especially. And so I try to take technology, that excuse of like, my website's not working or I can't reach my audience or customers and stuff. I try to take that excuse away by handling all those tech issues that happen all the time as we experience today as well.
Yeah, awesome. And yeah, that's I totally agree, because for instance, my father is a phenomenal teacher, phenomenal business coach, developed his own curriculum. But he's also, not as tech savvy as I know that he would like to be when it comes to getting his stuff online and kind of building an online brand.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I've had to kind of teach him. And so I imagine that you're filling quite a void that needs to be filled there. So tell us a little bit about how you got started and also your dropout story.
Yeah, it goes together. So it was a very like difficult time for me when I was in high school. I was never a school person, actually, just to admit that. Even in elementary school, it was hard for me to just get up in the morning and go to school and sit there in class. I would be a good student, A's and B's or whatever, but just school was never my thing. I could just come home and learn stuff on the computer. So in high school, I don't even know how I got my high school diploma. I think the teachers just felt bad, and they knew I was smart. Like, I'm not stupid. And they were just like, you know what, just get out of here, get your diploma, go to college, whatever. So even though I skipped a lot of like my senior year of high school, I graduated, and I guess I never took the hint that school isn't for me. And I continued on to college. And I also never took the hint that a 9-to-5 job isn't for me, because I kept getting jobs and working and being miserable. So, life has a way of like blowing stuff up in your face if you don't listen to the hints, which I was not listening. And I did my first semester of school in college, and I was in between 4 majors. Actually, I was trying to decide between music education or music performance, business administration, air traffic control, and computer programming.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Air traffic control. That's one I haven't heard before, actually.
Oh my God, it was terrible. I went to a class for like aviation, and everybody there were like, they were pilots. So I was so lost. I'm like, wait a second, can you slow that down, because I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not a pilot here, okay? I'm a music major right now. It was really funny. It was a waste of money, but it was fun now. So I was taking all these classes, doing really well. I was actually showing up to college. I was like, oh, I have more freedom and I have a job. I have to take this more seriously now. And I actually ended up going to New Jersey for a family event. I think there was like a baby shower. And for some reason, we were supposed to leave Sunday, and my mom decided to change our flights to Monday, even though the rest of the family was leaving Sunday. It was a really weird situation. I was getting really pissed about it, but I didn't know why until we found out that there was a hurricane coming. And my mom's like, no, our flights are going to be good. You're going to be able to go to school on Tuesday or whatever. It's going to be fine. And then we find out our flights are canceled. And I was like, oh my God, I'm stuck here in New Jersey until we figure out the flights or until the hurricane passes. I'm like, I left Florida, the place of hurricanes, to come to New Jersey and bring a hurricane with me. It was just really weird. What ended up happening was I didn't get any flights for like a week or two. And even though I was emailing my teachers as much as possible, like with the lights, the power going out and stuff. And I was letting them know, I was sending them the flight information. But the thing was, it was like kind of like the middle of the semester where we had midterms and we had group projects. And so I wasn't there. So they had to give me a bad grade for all the tests and the group projects that I couldn't make up. And then eventually just one teacher decided to drop me, and then the next decided to drop me. And I was like, well, I can't control this. What are you doing? I'm stuck here, right? And I go back to Miami. I go to my college advisor, and they're like, well, you either get back into class and you fail the class but continue doing all the work, or you just leave it dropped and you fail the class. I'm like, well, okay, I know the answer to that.
Wow.
And of course, I didn't take that hint, and I tried a second semester.
Oh gosh.
And I lost my financial aid because I got dropped. So I had to pay out of pocket. So of course I got a job again. And this was supposed to be my career at this point. I was like, okay, I can grow in this company. I can do the computer stuff if I want to. And at the same, I was just so miserable. Like, I was so miserable in these classes. I was retaking the same classes again. I was doing this job where I had really terrible hours. Like, I had to work at 3 o'clock until like 1 in the morning, and then go to school. And at the same time, I've been doing, like, I taught myself HTML and CSS and programming and web design and stuff. So like I would occasionally do like some websites for friends and family and stuff like that, and help them with their social media, like creating the accounts and managing it and stuff. And one day somebody told me, it was actually a personal trainer. I looked up his website and I set up a free consultation with him. And he's like, oh, so you do web design. What do you think about my website? And I felt really bad because it was a really terrible website. And he's like, I can see it in your face that it's terrible. I know it's terrible, but tell me how to fix it. I was like, okay, I would do X, Y, Z. And he's like, okay, done. Do it for me. And we kind of bartered. So like I got personal training sessions and then I did his website and he fell in love with it. And he's like, look, if you start a business, I will refer all of my colleagues to you and they will pay you. Just start the business. I was like, oh, okay, I think I can do that. So I dropped out of college halfway through the semester. I paid off the classes, dropped out, quit my job. I didn't have a savings or anything. I just quit. I was like, okay, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to figure it out because I'm miserable here. I might as well try something else, right? And I really liked programming. I really liked web design. I really liked how much he loved his website and how he was showing everybody. And he started another business that he wanted another website for. So it was really cool. But it was a really random decision. It was just like this opportunity popped up and I actually stopped and listened to the hints. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to drop out. I'm going to do it. And that's where my business started, technically.
Did you ever think about starting a business prior to that, or was it a completely new idea to you at the time?
It was completely new, and like now thinking back on it, I've always been an entrepreneur. Like even like as a kid, the video games I would play were like, like the tycoon games, like Lemonade Tycoon. That was my favorite. Did
you ever play Roller Coaster Tycoon?
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's like start that conversation. That's a whole hour-long podcast right there. But that like everybody thought those games were so boring. I was like, no, this is awesome. And even in The Sims, like I would just be like creating houses and like creating businesses. Like I wouldn't actually be playing the game. It was really weird. My friends thought I was weird. And like I remember as a kid, like my friend, one of my neighbors had like a cash register, and mind you, this is like probably like elementary school.
Right.
She had a cash register, so and then my grandmother had nail polish. So I was like, I got this great idea of like knocking on everybody's doors, talking to the moms of the houses, and offering to paint their nails for $1 or something. I went to every door. Every door was telling me no. And my friend was like, this sucks. Everybody's saying no. I'm like, no, we have to continue. We have to get every single door in this neighborhood. It was a lot of houses. It was a lot. So I think I was always set up that way. But I just didn't know the possibility. I just really believed that the only way was to finish school, to go to college, to get a job, to find a house, to find the perfect husband, to have kids, and then to die. Like, that's my life. That was there was no outside possibility until that personal trainer was like, start a business. Like, you're really good at this, and people will pay you for this, right? And yeah. I was 18 at the time.
And so now you just said that was your point of view before, get a good degree, get a job, now what is your point of view on all that?
My point of view now is that there's desire, because I always had the desire to do something different on the inside. I just never kind of let it out and expressed it. Every individual has their own unique desire. And when we actually face it and look at it, I totally believe it's possible, even if it's like the weirdest thing. Like I hear of people, it's like, I don't want to work a day of my life. I just want to travel. I'm like, okay, do that. And they're like, oh, but it's impossible. Oh, but money. Oh, but this. I'm like, no, trust me, there is a way. I know, like, I believe wholeheartedly that there's a way to make your desires possible. Anybody's desires are possible.
Awesome. And before we move on, why the purple hair?
So, like, I used to dye my hair red all the time in high school, and then I started a business. I'm like, oh, well, now I need to be serious, and now I need to be professional. So let me not dye my hair anymore. One of the many mistakes I learned about starting a business. And then I recently learned, like, literally last year, of like, you know what, let me start being more myself, because that's what people actually want. So now it's purple. It might be red, it might be blue one day, who knows? But right now it's purple.
So I understand what you're saying, but explain that a little more to our listeners, just the difference, because I feel like a lot of people, and especially if they're listening right now and they're interested in being an entrepreneur or starting a business, you have this idea in your mind that, you know, you have to be this perfect business persona, do it like everybody else does, really polished, and it's kind of maybe a mold that you see that you might have to fit yourself into, versus, you know, the power of being yourself. And so explain that a little bit more for our listeners.
Yeah, so especially because I started at 18, the number one fear that I had was that nobody would take me seriously and that nobody would want to pay an 18-year-old. Because a lot of my clients are like twice my age and always remind me that they have kids my age. So it was like, okay, I need to be polished and perfect and professional, like a LinkedIn profile, like corporate professional LinkedIn profile. And, you know, it worked at first to build my confidence. And of course, you know, as I started getting people more results, that professional part stopped mattering. Because what really matters, and especially online, is that if somebody has a problem and that you can fix the problem and give results. That's all that really matters. And then certain people will like you for your personality. So that's why I work with like the holistic people, because that's just who I am. I really love that stuff. I really love the new agey, like self-help stuff. And then so my clients become like my best friends. And then they also become like my best referral partners as well. And they send more and more people to me. So, but that was mainly my personality. If I kept being like that, like perfect, polished, professional thing. And it was just a mismatch also. So people would see my website and then talk to me on the phone. And it's like, your website doesn't really portray who you are. Yeah. And then that also happened when I started live streaming, because I had like these perfect web pages and perfect like posts and text and stuff. And then I started doing video and just being myself. And people were like, I need to hire you right now. Like, I've learned more about you and I trust you way more now through this video than I did with any of the emails or the posts or anything that you sent out. This is more you. We like this. We like this a lot. And actually, have you heard of Kimber Luna?
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up as an example, actually.
Yeah, I took one of her programs just because of that. Like, she has blue hair and she's a rocker with tattoos and piercings, and she just shows up exactly who she is. And some people get really pissed off about it, but then like everybody loves her. Like the people that matter, the people that she's helping, right? The people that are paying her. Hello. So it's like it's that just kind of opened up even more possibilities for me. Like, oh, okay, I can say I'm 22 years old. I don't have a college degree. I actually dropped out of college. I'm not fit for a job. I have purple hair. I like holistic new agey stuff. And that's who I am. And I can help you with your tech problems. And people will hire me and people will pay top dollar for that. And it works way better than trying to be somebody that I'm not.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. Thanks for expounding on that a bit. Now, after you dropped out, how did your friends and especially your family react, and what did you do about that?
Oh, so
loaded question.
I was excited for this question because it always comes up. Yeah, everybody thought I was crazy, and my family was not happy with me. Especially my mom. My mom was like, well, wait, what are you doing? Go back and get that job. Well, both my mom and dad, like, they were like, go get that job, go back to college, you have to have a degree, you have to have, this job was so perfect for you, you were able to grow in it, I was getting paid really well. And at that point, like, I had just spent so many years, 18 years of my life, just listening to what everybody else told me I should be doing. And I was just like, look, I can't take it anymore. I need to do this. Just support me. Like, and, like that's just what I had to do. It's like, look, I know you're worried. I know you're scared. I know this is crazy. But just like whenever you're around me, let's just keep it neutral and just try to be as supportive as possible. Okay. Cause I'm trying to figure things out. So at first it was like really, really, really bad. No, nobody was happy. And of course that fed that fear of like, people weren't going to take me seriously. So like, I was basically working I was hustling so hard 24/7, trying to make this work, trying to figure it out because I really wanted people to like see that this wasn't absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Because my friends didn't get it. They were all still in college with jobs. They're like, what is this business thing? What are you doing? And then my family was totally pissed off. So that's changed to now that like I've seen more success in my business and they've seen my success in my business and they're like now super duper happy and they're like, oh, thank you. That was really good. Thank you for just telling me to support you or whatever. Like, this is really cool. We like being around you now. But I don't think anybody liked being around me at that point. They're like, this girl's crazy.
Yeah, and that's pretty common. I mean, did your parents have any sort of entrepreneurial background or anything like that?
So my mom a little bit, like she did like, I don't know what she did. She sold like some like baseball cards or something, but this is like before I was born. And then like my dad has a social media marketing company. But he even still wanted me to go get my degree. And then like my stepdad also, like he works from home, but it's still like kind of like a 9-to-5 job. So like there was bits and pieces here, but they all still really believed like the only way is the college. Like they still tell me like, are you going to go back and get a college degree? I'm like, I have no idea right now. If I find the right degree, sure. But it's like they really feel like I need a degree as a backup plan and that I need the degree because that's the way like to guarantee security and success for the rest of your life. But I don't really believe that. I feel like a degree is a piece of paper and a job is just as unsecure as a business is. So I just got to continue my way. And, that's their belief and that's cool. And they're just looking out for me. And I totally get that.
If you had to, it's kind of off random question, but if you had to go get a job right now, if something happened with your business tomorrow and you lost all your clients, would you feel confident at this point in your life that you could go and land pretty much any job with your skill sets?
That's actually a very good random question because that happened last year for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really. So what happened was I kind of got sucked into this trend on the internet. So like I went from, oh, I need to be professional and polished to like, oh, I need to be an internet marketer and need these sales funnels and these things. And anybody that knows me knows that I love conversations. I love the one-on-one coaching aspect of things. So I try to do like kind of like this like sales funnel-y like internet marketing thing that just really didn't work out for me. I really love the one-on-one work. And so I hired a coach who told me to just stop doing everything because everything was just completely misaligned with what I really wanted to create. So I stopped my business to save my business. I finished with all my clients. I stopped all the sales funnels, stopped all the internet marketing, stopped my website. I just put it all on pause and I got a job at a Hilton hotel, actually, as front desk. I figured I disconnected from talking to people, so let me reconnect to talking to people by doing a front desk job.
That's a good way for sure.
Right, yeah. And also I was kind of getting really like, working from home. I lived in a college dorm, so like I lived with like other people, but it's a different world. Like they're dealing with college stuff. So I felt alone a lot of the time. So I felt like, let me get out there, meet new people, like force myself to get out of the house. And the whole interview was about my business. And then like, I think we talked for like an hour or something. And the HR person was like, oh my God, I need to ask you these questions. I totally forgot. And then she asked them really, really quick in 5 minutes. And then she's like, let me introduce you to the front office manager. And so I walk over, introduce the front office manager. And then they introduce me to the general manager. And then I get the job. I was like, well, that was easy. I was like, okay. So I feel like if that happened again right now, I could easily get a job if I really needed to. But the intention of the job was, one, for me, I really needed to get out of the house, and I also needed some income on to pay for necessities, so I can kind of recreate my business in a way that wasn't like, oh, I need to pay bills right now, like that desperate feeling that I felt in the beginning at 18 years old, where it's like, I need to prove myself, I need to figure this out, I need like to be perfect and all that stuff. So I got the job, it paid for necessities, and then I kind of recreated my business and restructured it really, and started offering new packages, and then that got filled out so fast. I was like, okay, a lot of things actually happened. I decided to move in with my boyfriend as well. He lives in Georgia, and he goes to college, so he can't really move like I can. So and then I also filled up my client roster. So I quit the job at Hilton, like I think after a couple months, moved to Georgia, and then I've been booked out with clients since. And I think this was earlier this year. I moved in May.
Huh.
So it's like a couple months ago.
Yeah, and how old are you now?
I'm 22.
Awesome. So just starting at a young age, even to start to build your client base, start to build your email list and your skill set. I mean, it essentially allowed you, from age 18 on, to be able to be location independent.
Yeah.
Moved to be with your boyfriend. You were able to, your value proposition and the experience you'd gain was able to just land you a job like that when you needed it, when your business was on hold to pay expenses. And then you're able to jump right back into your business again, with a full client base.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. And I feel like this business it's secure because, and this comes back to like that job security of like, if you have a degree, then you'll be secure with a job for the rest of your life. I feel like I'm secure with my business. Even that point where I had to stop it and get a job, it still felt secure because the whole intention of the job was to support my business, to regrow my business, to realign, because I was really disconnected from my values, basically, is what happened. So I had to kind of like slow down and be like, okay, what do I need here? Like, how am I going to build my business around my life, not the other way around? And so it's like I was still running my business,
Right.
That job was kind of like, it was kind of like opposite, like kind of like how I hear people like they have the 9-to-5 job and then they do like freelancing on the side. I felt like I had my full-time business and I was doing a full-time job on the side.
Just doing a job on the side to make some extra income to throw back into your business. I like it.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of like I can't turn it off. Like for me, there's no backup plan. If I get a degree, it's because I'm doing it for fun, right? Like I've always said I want to get a PhD because I want to be Dr. Cat. So, but like
just for that DR in front of your name, huh?
Exactly. So it's to me, it's like I'm all into my business, and that's the security that I have, and I also have freedom at the same time, freedom to travel, freedom to go where I want. I just need my laptop and to help people, which I love doing.
For anybody listening, Katya, if you could give them advice on, say somebody's listening is interested in having an online business, and let's say they don't know exactly what they want to do yet. They just know that they really like the idea of working online, making a living online, and being location independent, like you are. And let's say they're early college or late high school, maybe between 18 and 20. What advice would you give them right now? What steps could they take right now that would have the best impact later on down the road when they do get more clear on that vision?
Yeah. Okay. The first thing that I'm going to say is get on the phone with people or talk to people in person. Go to business groups, go to networking events, do whatever you can to talk to people face to face, especially if you don't know what you want to do. Because you probably have a sense of what you're good at. Now you need to get a sense of what people actually want to pay for, like what problems they have that they just can't possibly deal with on their own right now, and they need outside support. So I made the mistake of when I first dropped out, I spent months researching. I spent months building a website. I spent months like buying business cards and not really handing them out. And I don't recommend that. Don't ever get a business card. Get other people's business cards, write down information and follow up, right? So it's like, it's just talking to people. So like anytime somebody says, oh, but I need a website, I need business cards, I'm like, okay, get all that good stuff and then get on the phone with people. If you're going to build a website, get a cheap Squarespace website. I think it's like $10 a month.
Yeah.
Put up a phone number, put up a scheduling link, a calendar link, or, go out to a networking events and give your business card, but get other people's and talk to people. Because after a while, after researching so much, I was like, okay, I think I get this business thing, but I really didn't. To me, it's the same as going to college and like learning from a textbook. It's still different than actually going out there and having experience and doing it. That's why we get internships, right? That's why you volunteer. That's why you get a job, whatever. So it's, for some reason, the mindset of online entrepreneurship is like website, business card, and you're good. Like, I still have some people in my life that are doing that as well. And I'm like, no, just get your first client, like help somebody. Right? Even if it's for free at first, because I was doing a lot of websites for free at the beginning and then for really cheap. And then like I raised my prices. But when I finally decided like, okay, no more researching, no more consuming, I need to take action on this. And I decided I was going to get on the phone with 100 people and help them however I could. First call went great. I helped this person with her website. Second call, this lady was having an issue with her email opt-in form on her website. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can fix it for you. She's like, okay, how do I pay you? I was like, no, wait a second, you're my friend. I'll help you for free. She's like, no, this has taken me 8 months to figure out. It's probably going to take you 8 minutes. So let me pay you so you can fix it for me right now. Like, that's all I had to do. And I had my first client, and I had my first testimonial, and I had the first person that I gave a result to, that I fixed a problem for. And so I kept doing that. I kept, I actually never really offered anything in those first calls, but I didn't really have to, because just people just came on these phones. It's like, oh my God, I just cannot deal with my website right now. Like, I don't know how to fix it, and I don't know what to do. I'm like, okay, I can help you with that. How do you want support? Oh, can you just do it for me? Or, oh, can you show me how to do it? Or can you just simplify it for me? I'm like, yeah, sure. And some people I did for free. More people said, how can I pay you?
That's incredible. I love that's exactly what I was trying to get at, is the step-by-step process that you did, and being able to discover that at an early age like you did. The fact that you can't just disappear for 3 months and build this shiny new thing and emerge and hope that if you build it, they will come, because 9 times out of 10, they won't. You have to get on the phone. You have to get in front of people. You have to go out and find out what people need, what their problems are, and fill that void. And for those of you listening, something I love to say is that the wealth and the influence that you amass in your lifetime will be directly proportionate to the value that you provide to the world.
Yes.
And Katya, I think you're a great example of that. But let's move on here, and I'm curious, what fears did you have when you dropped out, and how did you manage those? I know one thing you mentioned is that you barely had any savings, which personally that would scare the crap out of me.
Well, you know what? I was really lucky to have my parents. Like, I was living with my mom still, and she would pay for food and stuff like that, gas, whatever. But I wanted to grow my business, and I knew I needed to invest in my business to grow it. So that was a very big stressor at the time. I, of course, not in college. Usually you hear the college students like opening up credit cards and spending tons of money. I did it too, but basically all the student loans I should have had ended up being just like all this money I spent on growing my business. Most of it really great investments, and then most of it really unnecessary. And that's actually like the main thing on my homepage on my website is like I spent over $100,000 in like 2 years on my business, and I'm like 30 or 40,000 away from paying it off this year. I'm gonna pay it off by January 1st for sure. But that's aside the point. The money was a big stressor. A big fear is like, okay, how am I gonna make money? And then like opening these credit cards and investing. Okay, how am I gonna pay this back? And there was one moment where my grandmother was trying to understand what this business thing was, and she only speaks Spanish, so it was kind of difficult to translate that into Spanish for her to understand, because she's like 85. She really doesn't know computer technology or anything, and she's like, look, I've been hearing that you're stressed about money. Here's $5,000. This is the last of my savings. I think it was like retirement savings or something. Use it. I trust you. I know you're going to do really well with it.
Wow.
And I took that and I invested in a program. It was actually a coaching program called Holistic, the Transformational Coaching Method by Holistic MBA. Now they're called Health Coach Institute. Best investment ever, because something that I realized was like business is a lot about mindset, and my mindset was not in the game at all. I had a lot of fears. It wasn't just like it was like money. It was like needing approval. Just nobody's gonna pay me because I'm 18. Like it was just like so much stuff was coming up. So I took this and then like also like personal side note. When I was 13, I was diagnosed with major depression. So I had been dealing with that. I think 3 years ago, because I took the coaching program and I was still kind of self-harming at that point. And a year into the program, I actually stopped. That program helped me overcome my depression and stop the self-harm, and it actually helped me grow my business even more. And I got certified as a coach. Because this program is based on neuro-linguistic programming, which is basically like what Tony Robbins does.
Right.
That program helped me personally, which was the whole intention of investing in that, but also helped me grow my business because that program was full of coaches that changed my life. They absolutely, because like here's how the program went. On Monday, you learn a new technique, a new neuro-linguistic programming coaching technique. And then Thursday, you get on the phone, and everybody in the group gets on the phone and they break us out into groups. And so you have this technique printed out on paper in front of you, and you just have to read the script and follow the technique. And so basically I coach you, you coach me. And so I was 18 coaching these 40, 50-year-olds about their relationship and about their life and about their health. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. But they, of course, like being coached by other people every week for a year changed everything. And so it was really hard to see these coaches that impacted my life so deeply saying stuff like, oh, my website's not working, I can't get a client, or I can't share what I do because I don't have like this email list, or like I don't know, like it's just like all these tech issues, and I was just like, I can help with this. So that program that helped me personally was also full of ideal clients. And that was also the time where I started like, I'm going to talk to and help 100 people. The majority of people were on there. There was also like a couple of like other Facebook groups that I was in, but the majority of people that hired me had already seen my expertise in the program with technology, and they were like, I need to pay you right now. I need to hire you right now. So it was twofold. Like it helped me overcome a lot of those fears, and it was a lot of just unnecessary stuff, like and everybody's fear is going to be different. And it's just like, if I were to hear somebody else tell me those fears back to me, I would probably laugh now.
Right.
So it was really unnecessary.
I'd love you to tell us a little bit more about your business and where it's at now, and how you generate revenue. And Katya, if you can, I love to get to the numbers as well. Some guests that come on the show don't feel comfortable with that, and some do. I personally think that it's inspiring to hear numbers, clients, revenue, and stuff like that. But you share whatever you're comfortable with. But I'd love to get kind of an overview of where your business is at now and the kind of lifestyle that you live currently. Yeah,
for sure. So, okay, that was a lot of questions in one. So first thing, where my business is at now, I am starting to move towards passive income again, because I learned from my mistake last year that if I do want to earn passive income, I still have to feel like I'm having that conversation and that connection with my clients and with my audience. So I'm moving towards like a digital agency style where, I'll be the face of the brand, but I'm finding like the best of the best people to hire in my team for things that I'm not good at, like copywriting or Facebook ads or web design, branding, stuff like that, so that people can come to me and hire reach and make millions. And basically I'm the strategy. I'm the one getting on the phone, having the conversation with them. And then the rest of the implementation happens.
Okay.
And sometimes I might do implementation because I love technology. I love sales funnels. I love creating them for clients. But I need to have that phone conversation. I really love that part. I really love the coaching part. So that's one of the things I'm still doing coaching. It's slowing down a bit, but I'm still doing coaching. I'm doing kind of like the chief tech officer is my main package now, which is where I'm moving people into the most now. I'm also doing kind of like done for you products, where it's like a done for you migration to ConvertKit, or like done for you telesummit setup, or like just like project based task is what you could think of it. But they have a specific, it's like a product though, because you purchase the done for you service and you know exactly what you're going to get. It's not like kind of like freelancing where you have to map it out. So it just makes it easier for everybody. And it's also passive for me. I still get on the phone and coach people and do the strategy. And I'm also starting to get into affiliate marketing because I got certified as an expert in ConvertKit, and I just love Nathan and everything that the ConvertKit team is doing. And so with the affiliate marketing, I'm adding extra like touches. Like if you join under my affiliate link, then we'll do a monthly mastermind call. And there's a Facebook group where I'm on there supporting my ConvertKit affiliates. So that makes me feel good about doing affiliate marketing. And I'm also like setting up some like products and courses and stuff like that. So I'm trying to like make sure that it's aligned with my value of like community engagement, like conversation, stuff like that, connection. So I'm in the transition right now. So that's where you're catching me right now. For exact numbers, my list size isn't that big. I've always worked through word of mouth referrals, and I still love doing that because I talk to people every day on the phone. So my list size is like, I think like 920 last I checked. I just started posting like weekly blog posts. I just moved into my new apartment, so I'm going to set up like a little corner of my apartment for like videos because I want to start redoing my live streams because I grew a good platform there on Periscope and Facebook Live.
Right. For
income, I'm actually having my firsts recently as well, even throughout this transition, because I usually make $7,000 or $8,000 from coaching. But last month, August, I made my first $15,000 month, which was really cool. And that was with the whole the chief tech officer package. So I'm like, okay, good, I'm on the right path. And I also had my first like $200 from ConvertKit affiliate commission. And I think I started promoting, like I haven't really heavily promoted that. I've just been like talking on the phone with people about it. And so I think I started that a couple of months ago, and I'm at like 400 right now monthly. What other numbers are important?
Those are pretty good, actually. And that I just love to get to the numbers, and I appreciate you sharing. Some people aren't comfortable, but the ones that are, I think it's just so inspiring for our listeners to hear what's possible. And so, for you, your biggest month being $15,000 at 22 is phenomenal. And how much of that would you say is profit?
So I'm like aggressively paying my debt off right now. So all the money that comes in goes to my debt.
Okay, well, let's say you had no debt.
So if I had no debt, really my expenses are like so small. I don't have that.
Very low overhead.
Probably like 5,000 are my expenses, because like my rent is 600. It's just I can't picture it without debt right now.
Right.
What is it really? My business bills are like 650. My team is what's expensive. Like I put a lot of money back into my business more than my personal life, because like rent is like the only thing, and food is like 600 a month. Right. So I think like about 5,000.
Okay.
If I'm trying to like cut out all the debt, and it seems to be at like the 5,000 range.
Yeah. So we'll say 10,000 maybe profit for that month, and obviously sounds like you're gonna keep on hitting that, and as well as more. Yeah. And so I just think that's such a phenomenal thing, and so inspiring to any of our successful dropout listeners who that's more than the majority of people your age, I would say, make. And that's certainly more than the majority of people who just graduate and land whatever, steady job they thought was worth it make.
Yeah. And it took time. Like, I'm not going to say, like, because a lot of people Like that's what I kind of expected out of college. Is like I need to get rich quick, like right now. Like I need to make a lot of money. But like it's taken 4 years to reach my first $15,000 month. And in the beginning, my consistent months were like $1,000 or $2,000, which is cool. At 18, I was like, oh my God,
Right.
score, awesome.
Right, but you realize that you at 22 right now, you're the same age as you would be if you would have continued college and graduated, right? And the majority of people will graduate at between 22, 23. Actually, I think the average is like 6 years to finish a degree, but no matter, you would have just graduated right now and you would just be starting your career, whatever that was. And, you'd still be in debt, but you also would have just wasted the last 4 years learning a bunch of things just in case and probably getting a job that had nothing to do with the degree that you studied. And so
Probably switch majors too.
probably maybe you'd be an air traffic controller, who knows. But I just think that that's so powerful. That's why I'm spending so much time on this, is because you say it took time to build up to that. Absolutely it did. I don't think anybody listening, I hope you're not naive enough to think that anything that promises that you'll get rich quick, it's not worth your time. I promise you, it does not exist. And so it does take time to build wealth like that. And for you, it takes 4 years, which is 2 to 5 years to build up a pretty substantial business is pretty typical. But because you started early, because you started at 18 and you didn't go to college, now, at the age where most people would just be graduating and with a starting salary of maybe, $3,000 to $5,000 a month, you're doing 15,000 and it sounds like it's rapidly increasing. And so, anyways, I'm going to let you talk, I promise, but I want...
Well, no, thank you for saying that. Because to be honest with you, and I feel like this is going to be everybody, there's always more mindset work to do. So I don't slow down and appreciate that. I was like, okay, 15K, next goal, 30K, right? Like that's where kind of like where my head goes. It's like 15. Okay. That's like last month. I need to do better this month. So thank you for actually slowing me down and like putting like the realities together, because I needed that. So I appreciate it.
Awesome. Glad I could help. So moving on now, Katya, there's, as an entrepreneur, it's like a roller coaster, right? You have your ups and your downs. And so I'd love to hear the story of what you would consider to be your worst entrepreneurial moment to date.
I think the worst moment in my business was last year. I did a webinar. I did Facebook ads to the webinar. I had 250 registrants. And it was on a Saturday. I wasn't expecting anybody to show up really on a Saturday. But 100 people showed up. And it was a great webinar, really successful. Everybody loved it. Everybody learned a lot. And then I sold a $2,000 coaching program at the end, a 1 month long coaching program. And they had to get on the phone with me first to get in. And well, actually, no, I'm like skipping ahead. So like the first one, they didn't have to get on the phone. They could just enroll right there.
Right.
And it was this coaching program that was just like, it was kind of like a couple of calls, but the majority was kind of like video trainings in a membership platform. Mm-hmm. And so I still ended up getting on the phone with people. I did 2 webinars, but the first webinar I got, I think, 8 people on the phone and 4 people enrolled. And what's the math? $8,000. So I was like, okay, cool. I made $8,000 from a webinar. And then I did the second webinar, and it was the same thing, coaching program, and people got on the phone, people enrolled. And then I had like all these people in this coaching program, and I was like, it didn't really feel good. It was just, I feel like it was just a lot of, the video trainings, a lot of the webinar, and not so much like actual connection and phone conversations. And so I just felt terrible. And it's the worst moment, because it's just like, I realized that I had fallen into somebody else's idea of how to grow a business and how to run a business. Like, wow, yeah, I made $8,000 or however much, because I made some more afterwards that I didn't really keep track of, because it was not happy with it, even though it was money. Right. I know. I was grateful for it, but it just wasn't me. Mm-hmm. And like, I really did not feel good after the webinar, even though everybody loved it. And like, it just felt really misaligned with my values. I was like, oh my God, I did it again. Like, I'm so good at coming into this pattern, or I used to be really good at falling into this pattern of listening to what other people tell me I should be doing. So I did that again for that moment. And so I emailed all of the people that paid the $2,000. I'm like, look, I know you paid $2,000 for this, this, and that. You're going to get that. And I'm adding extra coaching calls because that's just really important to me. And I feel like I could get you better results with that. And of course, everybody was happy. And that was immediately before I hired that coach. I was trying to look for a business coach because like I was making $6,000 to $8,000 a month consistently, but I was so miserable. Something was really off. And I was looking for a business coach to help me. And they were just telling me the same things. Oh, you need to do this. Oh, you need to do that. And I'm like, that just feels really off for me. I don't know why. And I found my life coach. Her name is Erica Reisberg, and her website is The Art of Conscious Embodiment. And she just kicked my butt. It's like, look, it's off because it's off. It's misaligned. It's not aligned with who you are and what your values are. So just stop everything. I was like, are you telling me to give up on my business? Absolutely not. And she's like, and it was a big mindset shift, especially for me. It was like, no, this job is going to support me in realigning in my business. And it was so difficult because the challenging part was not opening my laptop every day and working. Like I literally she told me to just, if I'm feeling off, don't do anything else. If I'm feeling misaligned, don't do anything. Just close the laptop, lay in bed, and do nothing. That was so difficult. You have no idea. Oh my God. I would text her. I'm like, I can't believe I'm laying in bed doing nothing. This feels like somebody's torturing me right now. But I needed to disconnect. And then the other part was I was also, with the fears that came up in growing my business, I was really neglecting myself, my body, my health. So a part of that was also like I needed to come back and start taking care of myself. Like I would work all day, all night, like I would forget to eat until it's 10 o'clock at night and I'm like lightheaded from how hungry I am. And then I would eat, I would shower really quick, and then I would go back to work. I would work till 3 a.m. and then wake up and do the same thing every single day. And so I was starting to get sick as well. And so that was like the lowest point where I was like, my business isn't working right now. Even though the money's coming in, it's just not working for me right now. Mm-hmm. And my body's not working and my mind's not working. So I just needed to take a hiatus, put the business on pause, get a job. And I also felt like, wow, I'm getting a job. I failed. Like that's kind of like the mindset I have. But then I started realizing that this was actually the perfect opportunity. Like all of our problems are just like an alarm. It's all the pain, all the problems is just trying to get you to focus on something that's just not aligned. And so it was a great opportunity to just turn things around and take the opportunity to learn, like, okay, wait, like here's my chance to kind of learn self-care and taking care of my body, exercising, like meditating, journaling, reading, having a life. Because my business was such a big thing that I built it without my life included.
Right.
So during that, I started like, okay, what do I want my life to look like? Like, what do I want my lifestyle to be like? And I started building my business around that. The clients came easy. The money came easy. I got to travel a lot. I got to move here to be with my boyfriend. And it just, now it feels really good. Right?
Yeah.
And it's growing. It's not, because I was also stuck at that income point for like a long time, and it was really frustrating. And it wasn't that I needed more strategies or anything. It's actually that I needed to slow down and kind of like, okay, what's not working? Not taking care of myself is not working because I need to be here and show up for my business. And then also doing things that don't feel good to me isn't working. Just because somebody else that makes 6 figures told me to do it doesn't mean that's the way I need to make 6 figures. Do I even need to make 6 figures? Yeah. Because that's the thing. Somebody looks at Reach and Make Millions and they think, oh, the $1 million number is the important part. But that's not. And a lot of my clients, for them, reaching and making millions, I've heard the pattern is like making enough to retire their husbands. So the husband can like take care of the kids, or like having time to be with their kids, or like, I had a client who was like, I moved to this beautiful apartment. There's a beach a block down. I've lived here for like a couple of years and I've never gone to the beach once because I've been so busy in my business. right? So reaching and making millions for her would be like maybe a weekly beach trip.
Yeah.
You know, I know you interviewed Nathan on your podcast, and like I look at his Snapchats, he's always by the pool having a great time, and he's like, oh, like he loves lazy people because it's just like it's so true. It's like a lot. I guess I started my business with like I need to hustle, I need to work hard, forget about my life, forget about being lazy, forget about like, you know, having a fun time being 22 years old. Like I never saw friends. I never hung out with my family. I wouldn't go out when people invited me out. I wouldn't go to parties. I was like a weird 18, 19, 20-year-old at that point. I was just like only business all the time. It was terrible. So I had to really, really change a lot of things. And now I feel like my life is really enjoyable. I'm actually enjoying my life, first off. And it's aligned. I can be lazy if I want to. I don't have to do college. I don't have to do a job. And my business is in a way that is really fulfilling to me and also really helps my clients. And they're getting even more results now than they were before because I am doing my work. I'm doing the work that I'm here to do.
Yeah, I love how self-aware you are. I think that's such an important skill to have, and the earlier that you can get that, the better. You know, to the point where you're making $8K and still you thought that something was off because you knew yourself and what, you know, your strengths and weaknesses and what you wanted your business to look like and what you wanted your business to stand for. So.
Yeah, that was another like moment where people thought I was crazy, and they're like, "Okay, wait a second. So you were making $8,000 and you were not happy with that, and now you're making $0 and you're happy? Like, what is wrong with you, Kat?" Because I was literally like, I had a savings at that point, but I was making $0. I had to pay rent. I had to pay for food. I didn't get the job immediately. I like did nothing for like a couple months. Oh, I also went through a really bad breakup at that time, like really devastating breakup. So it was just like not in it at all. It took 2 months, ate up all of my savings. The next month I was like, look, buddy, I can't pay rent, but give me a month. I got a job. I paid rent. I paid food. My mom helped me where she could as well. And my dad and stuff, my stepdad. And I put the pieces back together. I was like, okay, what do I really want to create? Like, what do I really want my business to look like and to stand for, as you said? And it doesn't matter what everybody else is saying that I'm crazy. I've been crazy one other time and it worked really well for me. So let me listen to my instincts and follow this through and see where it goes. And I'm really glad I did. As painful as it was to pause and it was tough. It was really tough not being able to pay rent and bills. Like I couldn't pay my credit cards either. It was really, really tough, but it was exactly what I needed. And it was the perfect opportunity to just flip everything on its head and do what I really, really want to do that is fulfilling to me.
Awesome. What's a personal habit that contributes to your success?
Self-care, for sure. Taking care of myself, meditation, exercising, eating paleo, trying not to eat all the cookies and ice cream that I see. Really is, but no, really, self-care has been really, and then even if I think I count mindset work, so like I hired, like talking to my coach, reaching out and asking for her support when I need it, actually taking care of my body, which I didn't used to do. Like I can't be successful if I'm not here, you know, physically. So yeah.
I also love the fact that you are quick to pick up personal coaching for yourself. I mean, I know you're a coach, but hiring coaches and mentors for yourself is a great thing to do as well.
Oh no, for sure. I have my life coach. I have a business and marketing mentor who's perfect. It's Camila Gornia. She has red hair. She loves Sailor Moon. She's in her 20s. She's digital agency stuff. So it's like I need somebody who's better at something that I'm not good at yet. Yeah. So she's showing me the digital agency. My life coach is showing me like how to like, you know, keep realigning back to my truth and slowing down and really paying attention and taking care of myself. And then I feel like just having a coach and mentor is so important. Like finding somebody that can get you where you want to go is so important.
What's a quality or trait that you have that you would consider essential to being an entrepreneur?
Persistence.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
What's a business book that you'd recommend to us and why?
A business book. You see, I'm such a, like, I only know self-help books.
That counts too. That's good.
So there was this book I read. It's called Loyalty to Your Soul. And my life coach introduced it to me. Actually, she required me to read it for our work together. And, you know, like I said, I'm a really big action taker. I'm all in my business. I'm constantly working on my business. And this book is one that I reread a lot. And it reminds me to slow down and remember who I am. And like I've said, like I feel like mindset work is something that I neglected at first, but it's actually a really, really, really big deal for my success. And I see it for the success of others. Like whenever there's something wrong, it's usually like a mindset thing that they can just flip the switch and we're good to go. Right. And so like mindset and spirituality and all of the stuff like that, like it's easily brushed aside as like, oh, that's woo woo, that's weird. But I found that it's like one of the most important things for me to focus on to be successful, to feel fulfilled. Because like I can create this business, like I created the money and I created this great work, but I wasn't fulfilled. Mm-hmm. And I like everyone outside of me saw me as successful, but I did not feel successful. I was miserable, right? And same thing when I was in college, like, oh yeah, you're doing it. You're in college, right? And you got this amazing job and everybody thought I was successful, but I didn't feel fulfilled. And so this book just kind of helps me reconnect to the reality of that, of like, okay, like what's your truth? Like, who are you? What's your purpose in this lifetime? And just reminding me that it's like slowing down and remembering that.
Perfect. Last couple questions here that really speaks to the listeners of our audience, Katya. What advice do you have for any of our listeners who are thinking of dropping out of college and possibly they're looking at entrepreneurship or just landing a dream job, but they haven't quite made that step yet of dropping out? What parting piece of advice would you have for them?
Mm-hmm. So they don't have to do what I did and drop out without a plan. I would start talking to people already, and they could either talk to people that could be potentially clients and people that they can help solve a problem, or it could be like mentors. Like, don't they have like apps? Like, you know how they have like Tinder and stuff like that? I think like there's totally apps for like having like networking conversations with people, right? Like business networking. Like I would just go on LinkedIn and message people, and I was like, hey, can I take you out for coffee? And just kind of like how you're talking to me, like having those personal conversations with either mentors or like potential clients, like just starting to like network, talk to people, figure out what you're really, really good at, and then see what problem people have, and then see if they'll pay for it. And then from there, you can have an action plan. Unlike me, you could have a savings as well. You could do some work on the side before you drop out,
right?
Or you could drop out and go all in. But it was tough. Just a warning.
What advice would you have for any of our listeners who've already dropped out and who are already on an entrepreneurial journey?
Same thing. Get on the phone, talk to people. Personal relationships are like, I feel like the most important part of a business. Even if you're going to start doing passive income stuff, even if you're like, you need those personal relationships, because even passive income, like you see a lot of like joint venture partnerships and affiliate partnerships and stuff. It's like, Get on the phone with people, see what people really want, connect with people, find a mentor. Depending where you are in your journey, like figure out where you want to go, find a mentor. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people that are college dropouts that work for their favorite mentor for free, and they get to see the back end of this very successful business, and they get to learn a lot, and they get to work with their favorite person and also get mentoring for free, and then they're growing their business on the side, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like no matter where we are, like any time that I feel stuck or confused as to what to do, I go out there and I talk to people, and I go out there and I help somebody solve a problem, and then I get reconnected of like, oh, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Love it. What's the best way that people can connect with you?
So reachandmakemillions.com. I have all of my social media on there, and if you want to search me on social media, it's Katya Sarmiento or Reach and Make Millions. And actually, I have a Facebook group for young online entrepreneurs that people can join. I think you joined it. I wanted you to share your podcast on there because I feel like a lot of people could benefit from listening to your podcast in that group. But I created this group even though it's not part of my business, I felt really alone in my entrepreneur journey. And I kind of wanted to create this space where other young online entrepreneurs can connect. It's kind of like a college party, but instead of drinks, it's laptops. And we're all talking about business and helping each other out in there. So like they can totally join if they want to. And they'll find it on my website as well, reachandmakemillions.com.
Awesome. Well, Successful Dropouts, you've been hanging out with Katya and Kylan, learning what it takes to drop out, grind, and succeed. For everything we talked about today, head over to successfuldropout.com and type Katya into the search bar, and the show notes will pop right up. And as always, stay hungry, stay foolish.